This case keeps providing twists and turns. It's complex, it's multi-pronged, but the more you delve into it, the more concerning it gets. It is Springfield's Morning News. I'm Greg Bishop on 92.7 WMAY. Springfield's News and Talk. Let's talk now about the case of alleged fraud that has some alleged political connections, and it deals with Jenny Thornley, a former Illinois State Police Board Merit Comp Board member who was fired after an investigation of overtime fraud, and then she made allegations against the executive director of sexual assault. After she was fired, they then started paying her out workers' comp claims, and all of this now has been speculated to be fraudulent. Thornley's already facing a criminal charge, multiple criminal charges of fraud, official misconduct, and theft, and that deals with the overtime case where she claimed to work several years from dating back to like 2016, that tens of thousands of dollars were paid out in overtime that is alleged was fraudulent. So that criminal case is ongoing, and there's all the inner workings of who's prosecuting that criminal case here in Sangamon County. Sangamon County State's Attorney Dan Wright requested to have a appellate prosecutor come in because Wright was representing Thornley as her son was the victim in a pending hit and run case that's still pending in Sangamon County Court. So Wright had a conflict there, can't necessarily represent somebody as a victim and then prosecute them as well. So they brought in an appellate prosecutor through the courts ordering that. So that's ongoing. Now, the timeline here, of course, you've got the criminal charges that were filed in September of last year. All right, so those charges were filed, and we had the news splash happen that a former state employee, a former Pritzker campaign worker, is being charged with overtime fraud. But you also have a separate lawsuit that was filed around April of last year, I believe, and that lawsuit was filed under seal. So nobody really knew what this lawsuit was. It was just filed and kind of, a mysterious seal put on it. Then the Attorney General, Kwame Raoul, his office, motioned to have that dismissed. And that was ultimately dismissed by a Sangamon County judge in March of this year. March of this year. So months after the lawsuit was filed, the Attorney General in December motioned to have it dismissed. In March of this year, the judge dismissed it, and then the documents that were under seal were revealed. And that revealed a whole host of things, not just the contents of this lawsuit that was filed by a member of the Police Merit Board, alleging a whole host of things, including to defraud the state of Illinois with complicity by the governor's office, are the claims. It opened all these documents up, and then that allowed for more strings to be pulled, where we find, of course, as we revealed yesterday, this CMS memo that I got via a Freedom of Information Act request that details the claims against Jenny Thornley, and CMS asking the Attorney General to refer the case and to prosecute it, and even lining out all of the workers' comp payments that were paid, a total of like $63,517, but that's not it. There was also costs for medical, for legal, for surveillance, photocopying, and so on, for a grand total of $158,771. And that was paid out, it was related to this case. But they say that it's clear the sexual assault that Thornley was alleging did not occur. Therefore, any mental health issues that Ms. Thornley may have experienced are not the result of alleged incidents reported to have occurred January of 2020. Please consider referral of the case to the Office of the Special Prosecutor. Now, we know that Attorney General Raoul, he on Friday said he did just that. He referred the case, but I got an email from the appellate prosecutor's office they sent to the Attorney General, again through a public records request, that showed they have nothing of the sort. They have no court order appointing them to this case, nor do they have any law enforcement investigations into this case. And the appellate prosecutor said, to their knowledge, they've never prosecuted a workers' comp case. That's something that the Attorney General has always done, and even state law lines that out. So the most recent twist here is not the criminal case alleging overtime fraud, but a separate lawsuit filed by the Merit Board alleging work comp fraud. So that case was dismissed back in March of this year. The documents were lifted from under seal in July. And then yesterday, an appeal was filed in the Fourth Circuit Court of Appeals here in Illinois, in Sangamon County, for the case of the Merit Board that they brought against Jenny Thornley. And this is all has some interesting connections to Governor J.B. Pritzker's office. So in April of 2021, Emily Fox, an employee of the Merit Board, filed a lawsuit against Thornley in Sangamon County Circuit Court, and the case was filed under seal. Kwame Raoul motioned to have the case dismissed in December and said, quote, the state determined through an investigation that the action is legally deficient. And as such, the costs to the states in the judicial system of litigating this matter outweighs any benefits of permitting the action to proceed. So the judge sided with Raoul and dismissed the case. So you've got this case ongoing now with an appeal that was filed yesterday by Fox in the Fourth Judicial Circuit Court of Appeals. And the filing, it alleges, and I'll pull this up so you can see it if you're following along online. The filing alleges that it's a multi-pronged scheme to defraud the state of Illinois, including with the active complicity of the general counsel of the governor, perhaps the governor himself, and other high-ranking officials. So this is going to be interesting to see how this plays out in the appellate court. It's just the latest twists and turns here when it comes to this case alleging fraud. And I'd love to hear your thoughts about it, 217-629-7970. You can also email bishoponair@gmail.com, or you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. Just search out Bishop on Air, and we can connect that way.